Okay, so this is a pretty funny story here that we're going to need to cover. And let me see if I can actually let me get this pulled up real quick. I'll kind of it's just a funny story, let me say that. But so the Miles Morales writer that wrote him basically being which he's always been that, but it's more obnoxious with the what if Thor Miles Morales. And they have him doing all of this weird stuff, saying all this weird stuff, talking about the hood and all of that. And, it's stereotypical black as Guardian is basically what he is. He's not only Peter Parker in blackface, now he's Thor in blackface. But the writer apologizes for his inauthentic, is what he's calling it, writing. And he has pledged to donate his pay to a New York City charity. He posted an apology. Oh man, leftist. I love it because this is awesome because it's left on left crime is what it is. It's woke on woke crime. It's a bunch of signalers eating each other up. So he did something so obnoxious that, of course, he did it to signal, but it even got the people that he was signaling to mad, and now he's apologizing to the point to where he's donating the funds. And he's a comic pro, so he's probably broke anyway. But he feels implied to do it, or inclined, to do it because, well, that mob came for him. And he said he posted an apology saying, "I've got the last few days to step back and listen." That's what you always have to do. "And I acknowledge your criticism in my recent What If Miles Morales. While I've lived a different experience through my own Jewish and Mexican background," well, you weren't high on the woke pole, man. You weren't high enough. You're Jewish and you're Mexican, but that's not good enough, apparently. "I know authenticity hurts. I'm sorry. This failed on that front. I appreciate hearing and learning from my black and Puerto Rican comic peers. They suck too, by the way. And hope to use this moment to help promote better authenticity. I'm also going to dote what Marvel paid me to the Brooklyn Book Bodega, which works to build literacy and more books to kids in New York City." And this is the post right now. So the writer of that, Yehudi Mercado, just wasn't woke enough. Not woke enough. And now you are in trouble with the mob of weirdos who are like, "Wow, why did you write him like this?" Well, I said this before. Everybody's wrote him like that. It just wasn't as obnoxious. But he's always been a stereotypical black version of Spider-Man. Now he's just a more stereotypical black version of Thor, but he's always was a stereotypical black. That's what he was created to be. So y'all can act like he's something new. And I'm not saying this to go to bat for this idiot. That's what you get. That's what you get for signaling. That's exactly what all you weirdos get. So when y'all eat each other, it happens every week now. Someone writes a goofy story or says something, and then these mob of comic pros start to destroy each other. I say, congrats, keep it up. This is what you get. This is what you bought into. But he's always been there. That's the only problem that I have with this. They act like, oh, this is something wrong now. Well, what has he been wrote like for the last 10 years? I told y'all, there's nobody. I've had these conversations. Nobody's proven me right yet. Nobody actually likes Miles Morales. Okay? There's another story I'm about to cover that further, even the access media is having to admit that I was right. If you actually read, there's only thing that people like is the idea of Miles Morales. They like the idea of there being a black version of Spider-Man. People say, oh, the Spider-Verse movie. What was he in the Spider-Verse movie? Like people talk about I don't know, man, black character has kind of this fro thing going on. He's wearing Jordans while he's jumping off the roof with the exaggerated swagger of a black teen. That's pretty fucking stereotypical. He was that in that movie that y'all overhyped. He was always that. He was never Not that. Y'all just pretended to like it because most often y'all like black versions of white things. Y'all are fake offended. If you were offended at the Thor stuff, you should have been offended at him. I would say this. In the Spider-Man, he was less stereotypical. Probably his least stereotypical version was him in the video game, in the Spider-Man video game. But in the books, in that movie, he was still that. He was still that. Either way, including in the game, which they copied and pasted and then put his name on the second one, on his version of it, he's still talking about Spider-Man at the end of the day. But let them be fake mad. If that means destroying themselves within the industry, go for it. Because you guys are miserable. You comic pros are miserable. You sit up here and cancel each other. You have a crap work environment, and Marvel's not paying you anything really to do it. So congratulations and good job. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.